Let's take a look at how to read a Calipers Vernier scale. So first off, when we're reading the scale, if the I don't have the rest of the model made on this one, but when the zeros are lined up here, that's when your caliper would be closed. The spacing between them would be 0. And as you move this bottom part to the right, that's how it opens up. One of the parts of the claw, or one of the parts of the caliper, is attached to the bottom. The other part's attached to the top, and they just kind of slide next to each other like this. So this is where it would be completely closed. And if you were to scoot over to here, line up the 0 with the 1 there, it would be open 1/10 of an inch. This is set up so that this distance from here to here is 1 inch. This would be 1/10 of an inch, 1/20 of an inch, or 2/10, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, 3/10 of an inch, and so on, all the way up to 1 inch. One of the nice things about a caliper is often these are set up so that you can have several different, you can have the caliper that spans several inches. So this would be 1, 2. This caliper would open, well, I didn't bother modeling most of it because you don't really need to see very much of this to be able to read the scale. I was just focusing on the important parts here. So in any case, let's figure out how to read it. First off, when we're reading the caliper, we essentially the place we're reading is where the 0 is on this bottom scale. So right here, I would be reading this bottom 0 is right here. This is where I'm going to be making my readings, at least for the first part of this. So to read where I'm at here, I'm past the 0 inch mark. So well, you can't really read that. I'm going to say for inches, I'm at the 0 inch mark. So my reading there would be a 0. For the caliper and for the micrometer, I'm going to be having you read several different individual scales and input all those answers separately so that you can basically, so I can verify that you're actually getting the right measurements off of each of the different scales, because there's several different ways, several different scales to read off of here. So the first one is the full inch mark, and you can see that's right here. We're past the 0. If this was way the heck over here, then we'd be past the 1 inch mark. If it was way the heck over here, we'd be past the 2 inch mark, but we're not. We're way over here. Oops. And I forgot which. I wasn't paying attention where we were. I think it was right there. Yeah, close enough at least. All right, so we're past the 1 inch, or the 0 inch mark. Next up, I'd want to read where we are in the 1/10 of an inch mark. And we have not yet passed the 1/10 of an inch, so that would be a reading of 0 as well. I'm going to go ahead and write that as 0.0 because this is 0/10 of an inch. So yeah, I'm just calling it 0.0. The next scale, what we're doing, very similar to the micrometer, since we're dividing a 40th up into 4 individual parts, or sorry, dividing a 1/10 of an inch up into 4 individual parts, each of these represents 1/40th of an inch. So we have 1/40th, 2/40ths, 3/40ths. So this is going to be very similar to reading the micrometer. We would count whichever 40th we've passed. So it looks like this 0 is not yet to the 3/40ths, but it's definitely past the 2/40ths. So I'm going to go ahead and call this 0.050. So the 3 different numbers we would use there for 1, 2, and 3/40ths. For 1/40th of an inch, it would be 0.025. For 2/40ths of an inch, it would be 0.050. And if we were past the 3rd hash mark there, that would be 3/40ths of an inch, which is 0.075. But we're not past the 3rd one, or only past the 2nd one. So I'll keep that as 0.050. Stuff isn't lining up as I move around. Oh well. So the final measurement would be down to the nearest 1,000th of an inch, and this is going to be a vernier scale. And how we read a vernier scale is we look to see where the lines line up. So these ones don't quite line up. It's close, but not quite. All of these ones along here, you can see it's not yet lining up, and it's not until we get all the way out here that it's close. And I would actually say the one that lines up here would be right there. And this is, it looks like 24. I'm reading where I am on the vernier scale. This scale down here is the vernier scale. So the reason it goes up to from 0 to 25, the only reason you're going to need this scale is figuring out where you're at on the thousandths. And like I said, you look for where the lines are lined up. They're lined up right here, and you'll go ahead and read it off of read it from down below. So that's 24 thousandths. So this would be 0.024. So then we'd go ahead and add all of these together. We get 0 plus 0, 50 and 24 rather is 74. We get 0.074. That would be our total distance there. Okay, let's try another example. Let's try this one. Yeah, I'll just leave it right there. All right, so we've passed the, well, we're past the 0, so for the inch reading, we're still going to have a 0. For the 1/10 of an inch, we're past the 1, the 1/10 of an inch, so this is going to be 0.1. For the 40th of an inch, we've passed the first hash mark there, but we're not yet to the second one, because remember, we're reading right where this 0 is. We're reading right there. So we've passed the first 40th, but we're not yet to the second 40th, so this is going to be 0.025. Then finally, for the thousandths of an inch, we need our vernier scale. So we need to look along here until we see where they're lined up. And I'll give you a second. You see where they're lined up? Looks like right here. That's where it looks like the two lines line up. There's still a little bit of jaggedness on that one and that one. And so this is a 12, it looks like, because, you know, we're reading off the vernier scale, which is on the bottom. So we would get 12 thousandths, which we'd write as 0.012. Then we could add these all together. We get 0.137. All right, let's look to see. Let's try something way over here. Let's try this one. When I'm taking, or when I'm giving you questions for the homework or the test for reading the caliper, I'm going to give you a large enough, you know, kind of a big enough view where you can see the full inch marks. So you can see if it's a 1, if it's between the 1 and the 2, we've passed the 1, but we're not yet to the 2. And then, of course, you can read all the other scales based on that. I do give you a little bit of flexibility as far as reading the vernier scale, because you might have a little bit of trouble trying to tell which one of them is exact. So I kind of give you a plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. Try to do your best guess, but you know, I just want you to be aware that, you know, I would actually accept, I'm jumping ahead here, but you can see it looks like those 3 could all potentially be lined up. They're all pretty close. This is the one that I actually would say is lined up on this one, but I would accept any of those 3. All right, so in any case, we'll take the inch reading first. We're past the 1 inch mark, so I'm going to go with a 1 there. Now I'm going to look at the 1/10 of an inch. Our 0 is right here, so this is where I'm taking my reading. It's 1, 2, 3. It's past the 4, but not yet to the 5. So for the 1/10 of an inch, I'm going to call this 0.4. We're past the second of the 40th markers, so these subdividing markers here. So for the 40th of an inch, I'm going to call this 0.050. And for my vernier scale, like I said, it looks like it's lined up right here at the 12. So for the vernier scale, 1/1000th, this will be 0.012. That's my 12 thousandths of an inch. Adding those all together, I get 1.43. Not 43. So 5 plus 1 is 6. What am I saying? 1.462 is what I get for that measurement. Let's do one more example here. Let's come over here. Let's go a little bit farther over. Let's do right there. All right, let's take this measurement. First off, we're between the 1 and the 2 still. So for my inch marking, it'll be 1. For my 1/10 of an inch, I'm past the 7, but not yet to the 8 because I'm reading where the 0 is here. This will be 0.7. For my 40th of an inch, I'm past the third of these little 3 markers, so this will be 0.075. And for my vernier scale, for the 1,000th of an inch, it looks like they're lined up right here. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. It's the exact same as last time, but oh well. They're lined up at the 12 there, so let me erase that so you can kind of see it without it being written over. But they're right at the 12, so that's going to be 0.012. Adding all of these together, I get 0.7, or 1.787. So that's how we read a vernier caliper.